so excited to have her baby, living in this dream area. Boom. Did you ever see the interview with Geraldo Rivera where he said, Manson said Sharon wasn't supposed to be there, and stupid Geraldo didn't even question him.
Taking into account the published report in the Los Angeles Times, the story that Susan Atkins told about what allegedly happened that night after the murder at the Tate house, we drove from Cielo Drive at the base of Benedict Canyon up here across from 2901 Benedict Canyon. Leaving from Cielo Drive, driving up Benedict Canyon, we timed ourselves and tried to place ourselves in the same position that the people would have been in that night after they left the Tate house. 6 minutes and 20 seconds of moderate driving up Benedict Canyon led us to this spot. And looking over the edge of this hill, we found several pairs of blue jeans and what appeared to be some very dark sweatshirts. These shirts and the blue jeans appear to have stains on them. So without hesitation, I went directly across the street to 2901 Benedict Canyon, used the telephone, called Lieutenant Robert Helder, LAPD homicide, and told him that I think we have found the clothes they're looking for.
If we have witnesses who say, okay, the killers left and they went back and they got on Benedict and they went this way. Right here is, this is Jay Sebring's house. Were they possibly looking for Jay Sebring's house and passed the street and went up the wrong street? Because on this street here, this is a street, an eyewitness seen them, walked outside, witnessed them face to face, washing off blood off their bodies right here with the car parked in this direction. And when you come in this lane is so tight, you have to go all the way to the end to turn around. There's no possible way to turn around in the middle of it. So they had to drive all the way up this lane, turn around, come back down, get out of their car, use the guy's hose down here at the end to wash off, and then go back in this direction. So that story about the 6 minutes and 20 seconds, it can't be true. There's no possible way it can be true. It can be true, because they say that they got in the car right here and they headed in the direction that they thought the killers would have went. So they went back out Cielo, got on Benedict, went this direction. Why do they even think that they went this direction? They could have went this direction because this is down towards Sunset. So I don't really understand why they even thought that they should go this direction, but they did anyway. Like I said, this leads down to Sunset, and then Sunset goes over into Hollywood from here. So it's just an educated guess for the news people to say this is, 6 minutes and 20 seconds we counted, because if I would have been guessing, I would have thought the killers would have went back towards Hollywood or back towards the freeway, because there's a freeway right over here. So I don't know, but anyway, they come back out Cielo, they get on Benedict, and they head Benedict this direction. This first lane right here is where Jay Sebring lives. And they're really close together. And the second lane, or street, is where they ended up at, parked. A guy witnessed them outside his house, washing themselves off with his hose. He asked them what they was doing. Tex walked back in the car, and then they took back this way. So the 6 minute and 20 second thing couldn't happen, because they had to come up this lane, turn around, come back down here, stop. And when they came up here, were they thinking that they were on Eastman, where Jay Sebring lives, and were they looking for his house up here, which would have taken even more time? Even if they came up here, turned around, came back down, got out of the car, walked over, washed off with the hose, got back in the car after the guy chased him in there, and went back on their way, it still would have thrown the timeline off that the news people said 6 minutes and 20 seconds. That just can't be true. There's something wrong with that. And when you lie about one thing, it starts making me think about other things. Because up here at the Bloody Clothes spot, The news people were the ones that found it. Then they said they walked across the street to 2901 and immediately called the police. Well, when the police got there, the news people told them, yeah, we walked down the hill. That's our footprints down there by the stuff. The police looked at the clothes and then came back up the hill, and the news people interviewed them and asked them questions that they clearly probably already known if they went down there and looked at the stuff. So I don't know. There's just something really strange about. I'm not saying anybody's lying about anything, and I'm not saying there's any conspiracy, but somebody can't be telling the truth. Either the guy who's seen them washing themselves off, or the news people. Somebody's not telling the truth, because the timeline just doesn't match up.